reports last week that you'd damaged your mast. Were they true or not?
Unfortunately, yeah, they're true. So it's we had a brand new mast in, and virtually on its very first sail at the commissioning with the spar maker, we had a major issue. A bit of a catastrophic failure, really, but it was just it's one of those things, pushing the envelope in a few design areas, and it didn't work out. So fortunately, it wasn't as bad as it could have been, and that mast is under repair at the moment, and we'll be back out there next week.
Mark, you've spoken a fair bit about the technical things you've done to the boat. What about the individual, I suppose, threat that Tom actually brings and the emotional impact you'll have for the work?
And after that warm tuna milkshake, no, look, these guys, I mean, it's an amazing thing. I think just Australia in general is going to be very proud of the whole America's Cup. It's Tom was certainly part of it. There's a lot of Australians involved with that team. And it was an amazing effort from Jimmy Fiddle all the way through to a lot of the shore crew guys and the guys who actually put those boats together. And fortunately, Wild Oats, we have a lot of those guys on board our boat. Andrew Henderson, who was sort of chief of the Oracle rigging team, and Matthew Mason, and got some fantastic talent on board who've also been heavily involved in the America's Cup. So it's a great thing for us, and like Tom knows, it's not just an individual, it's the whole team, and it's one thing the loyal guys are good at, and the Wild Oats guys, and pretty well, every boat in the Hobart pretty well consists of a great team, so we're pretty confident there.
Anthony, will Carl Stefanovic be heading up your celebrity contingent this year?
Yeah, Carl's coming in. He's funning up. He's got a couple of demons to take on himself, and he's been training with the boat since we brought it back over from New Zealand. So he's and he'll obviously be head of media and communications on the boat as well. So he feels a certain role as to all the rest of the celebrities that come with us. They train with us, and they have a job to do on the boat like everyone else.
And who are some of the others you've got this year?
We've sort of, Larry Ember's actually coming as well from Channel 7, so we've got the best of both networks. If nothing else, I'll keep us laughing all the way to Hobart if it gets cold. We've also announced that Jude Bolton, captain of the Sydney Swans, is coming along. And also we've gone into another industry to raise awareness for the foundation, which is the food industry, and we are taking Master Chef Gil from Benmont along as well.
So you'll dine quite well.
And Phil Wall, of course, as well. But he's forming a set. Phil's got a much more involved role in the boat this year, having done before and trained with the boat all the way through last since 2009.
Anthony, Carl said he'd never do it again. So how did you convince him to come around?
Yeah, I mean, it was, as Rico was saying before, and I think all the guys on the panel have mentioned, it's one of those things you never really forget. And it's easy a day or two afterwards, particularly as Carl, when he got off the boat, it was one victory from one attempt. And there's many guys who spend many years trying to get to that. So it's an easy way to go out for him. But I think we get together as a team and we talk a couple of months later on, we keep telling the same stories over and over again. And it does become an easy thing to want to be part of again. And I think it leaves a real hole in you. You miss it terribly when you're not involved in it. So Carl actually approached us and said he wants to do it. Sort of given the fact that there's a lot of room for improvement there, definitely we'll have to have him on the side.
Anthony, it's a bit of a different preparation for the world this time around. I mean, I don't really use the favourites tag, but there's a certain amount of expectation associated with your boat in certain conditions. Yeah, our boat has got a proven pedigree, and I think that's what drew me to the boat in the first place. Being a limited budget team and having to try and find another way rather than just building a new boat with the recent technologies and the recent advancements in sailing, the boat was definitely a good target for us. I think the last boat that we raced in Hobart, one that we won with in 2011, was sitting on a paddock in New Zealand when we found that and started working on that. So it sort of fits the Royal standard and the way we like to go about sort of building a boat. But there's probably, literally, when you look at the other boats in the race, the maxis that are in the race, there's fundamentally, it'd be remiss of me not to say that the boat that we won couldn't win again, the Sins boat. It's a good boat, it's a tough boat, that boat. And also too, sort of with the other maxis that are involved with Warren. But we're up against the best super maxi racing team in the world, and we're very clear on that. In Wild Oats,
they're the Ferrari of sailing sport. They run things really well, and we don't underestimate how well their preparation will be, and what a real tough battle will be for us in a very short period of time to contend. I think it's fair to say that I think we'd go, may not agree with me, but they're probably the rightful favourites in this race, given the fact that they've got such a good pedigree and such good talent.
If they're the Ferrari, you just got Sebastian Vettel over there at the time.
It's like taking an AK-47 to a water pistol.
Not many water pistols with DSS and UMass coming out. But no, saying that, yeah, we do our best around the team factor as well. You know, attracting Tom to the boat. We knew we had to have a piece of equipment that would be exciting and thrilling to attract some of the sailors to sail on it. And yeah, I think, as I said, while we're a small category, I guess, in the maxi class, you know, we sort of out of all the boats, there's 5 or 6 boats in our class. Will be there. There's quite a few boats that we've got to keep an eye out for those Volvo 70s as well. They'll go fast down the coast in certain conditions, and it's a wide open race as far as that goes. But I think we're pretty clear on who the benchmark is.
Tom, where would winning this year's Sydney to Hobart rank amongst your recent successes?
It's really just a different world for me, but yeah, obviously to win would be great, but for me, at the moment, I'm a passenger. I'm learning the ocean racing. I'm learning how to go offshore, how to sail these big 100-foot super maxis. I'm definitely not leading the charge. I'm learning off the guys who know what they're doing. And just to be a part of it would be great, but yeah, to win the Sydney to Hobart, all the sailing I've done over the last 20 years, I've travelled the world, and no matter what country you're in, you say you're an Australian sailor, they say, have you done the Sydney to Hobart? And all the time I'm saying, no, I haven't, I will do it one day. And for me to do it and to be a good chance of winning, it's a pleasure to be part of it.
Tom, you and Anthony are sharing the wheel. How are your numbers?
The numbers?
Yeah.
It's in speed?
Yeah.
I don't know, really.
Tom's the second best helmsman. The truth is, on our boat, it's actually it is very strenuous. We'll probably be having up to 4, possibly even 5 helmsmen. We're training as a group, changing in 20-minute intervals the other day. Downwind, it's a very tough boat to control, and it tends to put a lot of physical work on it. So, you know, in terms of that, it's a very, very heavy rig to run, and you know, you feel the pressure of that as well.
Mark, the boat's 8 years old, and every year you've done modifications, you've put a new rig in, you've got the foils now horizontally coming outside the hull. How many more changes are left in an 8-year-old rifle-pew boat? Is a new boat possible in the future? Have we extended its capability at this point?
Look, you know, everyone's sort of renowned about the Swiss Army knife. I'm just wondering when they put out little follow-up scissors, you know, all around the side. But look, no, as I said before, we're not going to die wandering, that's for sure. It's we've thrown everything we can at this boat. It's coming to its 9th year, and you know, it's one of those freak boats. It is a great boat. It's a good all-rounder, and we really believe that modifications we've done this year will be, you know, significant speed increases from those modifications in their conditions. But you know, once again, it's going to come down to the conditions. But Wild Oats is looking as good as ever. You know, we're also putting a new bulb on next week as well, which is in the program. And you know, when we get back in the water at the end of next week, you know, we're very confident she'll be in the fastest form she's ever been before. So it's exciting.
Does it worry you with all these appendages? Like Matt Allen said, he's got a fixed keel and a rudder, and you've got multiple appendages out the side of the hull. Does that worry you at all going to Hobart with the possibility of hitting something?
No, not at all really. I mean, you know, it is, you only use one appendage at a time, basically, and we all know the risks and the danger involved in this race. You know, we're sailing one of the most treacherous stretches of water across Bass Strait in the world. We've seen what happens in that part of the water back in '98 and stuff, so we're all very aware of that. We're all very, very safety conscious. All these falls are actually quite simple. They all sound complicated, but they're actually quite simple things. So from an engineering point of view, it's very easy to get things right, we think. And you know, we've hit sunfish, we've hit sharks at speeds of 30 knots. You know, we know what it's like hitting things at high speed, and it's not good. And the boat has been engineered to hit things at, you know, at very high speed. So when it does happen, you know, the boat, you know, passes with flying colours. So it's safety's a big deal for us, and that's what we work hard at.
Matt Allen, given you've brought a you, Ichi, and sunk a lot more money into it. Is this really an all-out attempt to take the overall win this time?
Yeah, look, I'd like to say that this race of all the ocean races around the world at the moment has got the most vast array of yachts, the best fleet, both for overall and for line honours we've ever seen, you know, in anywhere around the world. So the whole yachting community right around the world will be watching this race. But no, we're 30 years between drinks, as I said, you know, is a long time. We're going to keep chipping away. We know that any time you win this race, you need the sort of weather gods, you know, smiling upon you, and you know, so we'll see. But we'll be back. Win, lose or draw, we'll be back.